The massive ship appeared in Earth's orbit without warning. It hung silently above the blue planet for 3 days before sending its message. Diplomats and military officials from all nations gathered in Seoul to receive the first communication from beyond their world. Ambassador Kim Ji-hyun smoothed her formal jacket nervously. At 43, she had spent her career in international diplomacy, but nothing had prepared her for representing humanity to aliens. The chamber buzzed with tension as officials whispered among themselves. "They're late," muttered General O, Minsu beside her. "Even aliens don't respect meeting times." Ji-hyun smiled despite her nerves. "Perhaps punctuality isn't universal." The room darkened suddenly. A beam of light appeared in the center, forming the image of a tall, slender being, with pale blue skin and large dark eyes. "People of Earth," the alien spoke in perfect Korean, its voice melodious. "I am Trell, ambassador of the Galactic Confederation. We welcome you to the larger community." Applause filled the room, but Ji-hyun noticed the alien's expression remained solemn. 2 weeks later, Ji-hyun found herself aboard the alien vessel, accompanied by General Oh and Dr. Nam Soo-ho, Earth's leading astrophysicist. The ship was vast, with corridors that seemed to stretch forever. "The Confederation includes 37 spacefaring species," explained Trell as they walked. "Most have been traveling between stars for thousands of years." "And how do you see?" "Humans?" Ji-hyun asked carefully. Trell paused. "You are young. Some members view your species as primitive." General O frowned but said nothing. They entered a large chamber where representatives from various species gathered around a central table. Ji-hyun struggled not to stare at their diverse forms. Some appeared almost human, while others defied description. Ambassador Kim greeted a tall being with scales that shifted color like oil on water. "I am Rek, of the Praktor Dominion. We must speak of grave matters." The center table illuminated, showing a 3-dimensional map of the galaxy. A dark void appeared at one edge, slowly spreading inward. "We call it the darkness," Rek explained, voice trembling slightly. "It consumes all in its path. 18 star systems have already been lost." Ji-hyun studied the map closely. "What exactly is it?" "We do not fully understand," said another alien, this one resembling a tall insect. "Probes do not return. Ships disappear. The few survivors report only horror." Ji-hyun noticed something strange. While the aliens discussed the darkness, their bodies showed visible signs of distress. Trembling limbs, changed skin colors, rapid breathing. "According to our projections," Rek continued, touching the display, "the darkness will reach your solar system within 2 Earth years." The room fell silent. Dr. Nam leaned forward, examining the data. "You've evacuated the threatened systems?" General O asked. "Where possible," answered Trell. "Many billions have been relocated deeper into Confederation space." Ji-hyun exchanged glances with her colleagues. Something wasn't adding up. "Why warn us?" she asked. "If we're so primitive, why not just leave us to our fate?" Trell's large eyes blinked slowly. "Because you are different. Your species reacts to threat in ways we find unusual." Later that evening, in their assigned quarters on the ship, the 3 humans discussed what they had learned. "Did you notice how frightened they all were?" Dr. Nam asked, reviewing notes on his tablet. "Not concerned or worried. Terrified." General O nodded. "High-level fear responses across all species. Yet they're advanced civilizations with powerful technology." "They're hiding something," Ji-hyun said, looking out the viewport at Earth below. "Or they don't understand something about this threat." A soft chime announced a visitor. The door slid open to reveal a small, furred alien Ji-hyun hadn't seen before. "Forgive my intrusion," it said in a whispery voice. "I am Meek, science advisor." "To the Confederation Council." Meek moved into the room, glancing nervously at the door. "What I share must remain between us," the alien continued. "The Council would not approve." Ji-hyun nodded for it to continue. "The darkness feeds on fear," Mick explained. "It somehow consumes the emotional energy of sentient beings, and all Confederation species have evolved strong fear responses. It is how we survived predators on our homeworlds. But humans? Dr. Nam asked. Your fear response is muted by our standards. Your species routinely does things others find terrifying. You explore dangerous places. You continue functioning under threat. General O frowned. Are you saying this darkness might affect us differently? I don't know, Mick admitted. But your Earth lies directly in its path, and you may be our only hope. As the alien left, Ji-hyun stared back at her home planet. The beautiful blue sphere seemed suddenly fragile against the vastness of space. So, General O said quietly, the galaxy trembles in fear while we're expected to stand unshaken. Captain Lee Sung-min stood on the bridge of the ESS Defender, Earth's first true interstellar warship. Through the main viewport, he watched the strange dance of light and shadow at the edge of the Quran system. The darkness had consumed the system's outer planets just days ago. Sensors detecting unusual energy patterns, Captain, reported Officer Jang Na-young, her fingers moving quickly over her console. Nothing our instruments can properly identify. Sung-min nodded. 6 months had passed since Earth learned about the threat approaching their world. While most alien civilizations retreated deeper into Confederation space, humanity prepared to fight. Keep us at safe distance, he ordered. Dr. Bei, what are we seeing? Dr. Bei Jinwoo adjusted his glasses as he studied the readings. The darkness seems to consume matter and energy, but it's not like a black hole, it's more selective. The bridge crew worked quietly as the Defender observed the cosmic horror from a distance. They had been sent to gather information, not to engage. A soft beep announced an incoming transmission. Captain, we're being hailed by a Vandari science vessel, said Communications Officer Park Soo-jin. On screen, Sung-min replied. The view screen displayed an alien with pale green skin and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. Human vessel, you are too close to the danger zone, the Vandari warned. We strongly advise immediate withdrawal. Thank you for your concern. Sung-min responded politely. We're maintaining safe distance while gathering data. The alien blinked. Rapidly, a sign of distress Sung-min had learned to recognize. No distance is safe. Your species does not understand the true nature of what you face. After some discussion, the Vandari commander, a scientist named Krill, agreed to come aboard the Defender. An hour later, Sung-min welcomed the alien to the ship's conference room. Your calmness disturbs me, Krill said immediately, his body trembling slightly. The darkness has consumed 11 worlds in this system alone. We understand the threat, Sung-min assured him. That's why we're studying it. Dr. Bei entered carrying a portable scanner. With your permission, I'd like to monitor your physiological responses during our discussion of the darkness. The alien hesitated, then nodded. If it helps your understanding. As they reviewed the sensor data together, Sung-min noticed how Krill's trembling increased whenever they discussed the darkness directly. The scanner in Dr. Bei's hand beeped steadily. Fascinating, Dr. Bei muttered. Your neurochemical reactions are off the charts. Of course they are, Krill replied. Any sane being feels terror in the face of extinction. Humans feel fear too, Sung-min said carefully, but perhaps differently. Later, after the Vandari departed, Sung-min met with his science team. Dr. Bei displayed comparative brain scans on the main screen. The difference is remarkable, he explained. All Confederation species we've studied show extreme amygdala activity when merely discussing the darkness. Their fear response is at least 3 times stronger than ours. Dr. Kim Soon-yi, the ship's xenobiologist, nodded in agreement. Humans process fear differently. We can acknowledge danger without being paralyzed by it. But why? Asked Sung-min. What makes us different? Earth is unusually dangerous, Dr. Kim suggested. Most Confederation species evolved on worlds with fewer predators, natural disasters, and climate extremes. Their survival depended on avoiding danger, not confronting it. The ship's AI announced an incoming transmission from Earth Command. General Choi Tai-woo's stern face appeared on screen. Captain Lee, your mission parameters have changed, he stated without preamble. The darkness has accelerated its movement. New projections show it will reach Earth in 8 months, not 2 years as previously estimated. Sungmin straightened in his chair. What are our orders, sir? Continue your observations, but add a new objective. We need to understand if there's a connection between fear response and the darkness's behavior. Earth is preparing defenses, but we need to know what we're truly fighting. After the transmission ended, Sungmin walked to the viewport. In the distance, he could see the Vondari ship preparing to jump to faster-than-light speed, retreating from the approaching horror. They run because their fear tells them to, Dr. Bay said, joining him at the window. But what does our relative lack of fear tell us to do? Stand our ground, Sungmin replied. Face what comes. The next morning, as the crew prepared for a closer approach to the edge of the darkness, an emergency alert sounded. 3 refugee ships had emerged from hyperspace nearby, their engines failing. They're being pulled toward the darkness, Officer Zhang reported urgently. Estimated time to contact, 20 minutes. Sungmin didn't hesitate. Set intercept course, prepare towing cables. Captain, Dr. Bay warned, moving that close puts us at serious risk. I know, Sungmin replied, but if we don't try, who will? The Seoul skyline had changed dramatically over 3 months. Massive defense towers now rose between skyscrapers, their energy emitters pointed skyward. Similar structures appeared in cities worldwide as Earth prepared for the coming darkness. Admiral Kang Hee-jun watched from the command center window as thousands of workers rushed to complete the final tower. At 62, Hee-jun had spent his life in military service, but nothing had prepared him for defending Earth against a cosmic horror. The last alien evacuation ships departed this morning, reported Colonel Yoon Min-ho, sliding a tablet across the desk. They've taken nearly 15,000 Confederation representatives with them. Hee-jun nodded. And our preparations? The global shield network is at 87%. Dr. Song's resonator system is being installed in all major population centers. Dr. Song Yuna entered the command center, her lab coat wrinkled from days of continuous work. At 38, she had become Earth's most important scientist, developing technology that might save humanity. Admiral, I need to show you something, she said, dark circles under her eyes. In her laboratory beneath the command center, Yuna activated a small device resembling a metal cube. A holographic display appeared, showing swirling patterns of light. What am I looking at? Hee-jun asked. Fear, she replied simply. Or rather, the energy signature of fear. She touched a control, and the pattern changed. And this is human courage. Fear acknowledged, but controlled. Min-ho leaned closer. You've mapped emotional responses? The darkness feeds on fear, Yuna explained. All our research suggests it's drawn to the neurochemical energy produced when sentient beings experience terror. The resonators can amplify our controlled fear response, creating something the darkness has never encountered. A poison, Hee-jun said, understanding dawning. Potentially, but we won't know until it arrives. 3 weeks later, Earth's long-range sensors detected the first tendrils of the darkness entering the solar system. Pluto went dark within hours. It's moving faster than predicted, Min-ho reported during the emergency council meeting. Leaders from every nation gathered via holographic projection. President Ryu Dae-won of the United Earth Alliance spoke calmly. Dr. Song, are we ready? As ready as we can be, Yuna replied. The resonator network is fully operational. Then we proceed as planned, the president decided. No evacuations. We stand together. The first attack came as Neptune fell. Shadow entities, wispy forms that seemed to flicker between dimensions, appeared simultaneously in cities worldwide. People screamed as the creatures moved through streets and buildings, touching humans at random. In New York, a shadow passed through an elderly man who collapsed in terror. In Mumbai, another entity approached a young woman. She stood her ground, trembling but defiant. The shadow paused, then retreated. From the Seoul Command Center, Hee-jun watched global reports flood in. They're testing us, Yuna said, analyzing data on her screen. Learning what we are. And what are they learning? Minho asked. That we're different. Look at this. She pointed to energy readings. When they encounter pure terror, they feed. But when they find our controlled fear, our courage, they withdraw. Hee-jun turned to the communications officer. Broadcast. Worldwide. Tell everyone. Feel your fear. Acknowledge it, but stand firm. Don't run. As the message spread, a pattern emerged. Where humans faced the shadows with courage, the entities retreated. Where panic spread, the shadows grew stronger. The resonator network activated, amplifying humanity's unique response across the planet. The shadows withdrew completely within hours. It worked, Minho said, relief evident in his voice. No, Yuna corrected grimly. This was just the scouting party. 3 days later, Mars vanished from telescopes. The main force of the darkness had arrived. Hee-jun called his top officers to the strategic command bunker deep beneath the city. The planetary shield can hold for 72 hours at most, he told them. The resonators will help, but this battle will be won or lost in the mind of every human on Earth. What are our odds? Asked General Kim Do-jin. Unknown, Yuna answered honestly. No species has ever stood against the darkness before. They always ran. Well, Minho said with a grim smile, humans have never been good at running away from fights. As they spoke, the darkness engulfed the moon. Earth's night sky suddenly had a vast emptiness where the familiar satellite had always been. Hee-jun activated the global broadcast system. His weathered face appeared on screens worldwide. People of Earth, he began, his voice steady. The enemy is at our door. You will feel fear in the coming hours. That is natural. But remember who we are. Throughout our history, humans have faced terrible odds with courage. Today we face the greatest test of all. He paused, looking directly into the camera. Feel your fear, then set it aside. Stand firm. For each other. For our home. For all who will come after us. While the galaxy trembles in fear, humanity stands unshaken. As he finished speaking, the sky began to darken unnaturally. The darkness had arrived. Dr. Bae Ji-won adjusted the telescope on Europa's research station as Jupiter disappeared behind him. The massive gas giant simply vanished as though it had never existed. The small group of alien refugees huddled behind her gasped in unison. It's happening so fast, whispered Trell, the Confederation ambassador who had chosen to remain in the solar system. Earth will be next. Ji-won checked her instruments. The station, built on Jupiter's ice-covered moon, was humanity's farthest outpost and now served as an observation point. 20 scientists and 50 alien refugees waited anxiously as the darkness approached. Earth is ready, Ji-won said with more confidence than she felt. The defense systems are active. A young Arthosian child tugged at her sleeve. The small blue creature resembled a furry human child with large, expressive eyes. Why do you not flee? The child asked in a trembling voice. Everyone always flees. Ji-won knelt down. Because sometimes running away isn't the answer. Sometimes you must face what frightens you most. On Earth, the sky darkened unnaturally as the darkness surrounded the planet. It wasn't like night falling. It was as if reality itself was being erased at the edges. In Seoul's underground command center, General Choi Tae-woo monitored global reports. The planetary shield projected a thin blue barrier visible from the ground, but dark tendrils were already probing its surface. Shield integrity at 90%, reported Officer Kim Hye-jin, resonator network at full capacity. And our people? Choi asked. Colonel Yoon Minho looked up from his station. Holding firm, sir. Panic incidents are minimal. A deep vibration shook the command center. The screens flickered momentarily. What was that? Choi demanded. Dr. Song Yuna studied her instruments. The darkness is changing tactics. It's not just a physical attack, it's targeting our minds directly. Around the world, humans felt a terrible pressure in their heads, ancient hunger seeking their fear. In parks and shelters, in homes and hospitals, people held hands and steadied, their breathing as they had been trained. In New Delhi, a teacher led her students in calming exercises as shadow forms passed through their classroom walls. In Rio de Janeiro, an elderly man recited poetry to his frightened neighbors as darkness seeped under their doors. Back in the command center, Una adjusted the resonator controls. The network is amplifying our mental resistance, but the pressure is increasing. Another tremor, stronger this time. Several screens went dark. Shield at 60%, Heejin reported. Multiple breaches detected. Choi activated the emergency broadcast. To all citizens, channel your fear but don't succumb to it. Remember your training. The darkness feeds on terror. Deny it that food. In cities worldwide, the shadows became physical. Dark creatures with constantly shifting forms moved through streets, touching humans and drawing something invisible from them. Those who panicked collapsed instantly, their life force drained. Those who controlled their fear felt only momentary weakness. On a farm, outside Busan, an elderly woman faced a shadow creature with stern determination. "I've lived through war and poverty," she told it defiantly. "You don't scare me." The creature recoiled as if burned. In the command center, reports flooded in of similar incidents worldwide. The darkness seemed confused by human resistance. "It's working," Minho said, hope in his voice. "They expected us to break easily." "Don't celebrate yet," Una warned. "Look." The main screen showed massive shadow forms gathering above major cities. The shield flickered as darkness pressed against it. "They're concentrating their attack," Choi observed, "focusing on breaking through." A massive impact shook the entire facility. Emergency lights activated as main power failed. Shield collapse in multiple sectors, Hyejin reported, her voice steady despite the crisis. "The darkness is breaking through." Choi turned to Una. "Activate the final protocol." She nodded grimly and entered a series of commands. Across the planet, the resonators changed frequency, broadcasting a new pattern, not just controlled fear, but something uniquely human. "Hope," Una explained. "Courage isn't just about facing fear. It's about believing in a future beyond it." The effect was immediate. Where the new frequency reached, shadow creatures writhed in apparent agony. But the strain on the system was enormous. Resonators began failing across the globe. "We need to maintain the broadcast for at least 12 hours to repel them completely," Una said. "I don't think the system can hold that long." Another impact harder than before. The command center ceiling partially collapsed. "Evacuate to backup facility," Choi ordered as his team rushed to portable equipment. Outside, the sky was completely black now. No stars, no moon, nothing but absolute darkness. Communications between cities began to fail as infrastructure collapsed. Back on Europa, Jiwon watched her equipment register massive energy fluctuations from Earth. "What's happening?" Trell asked anxiously. "The final battle," Jiwon replied softly. "Either humanity will stand or we will fall." Then suddenly all signals from Earth ceased. The monitoring equipment showed only static. The refugees wept openly, certain they were witnessing the end of another world. Jiwon stared at the dead screens, her face impassive. "Don't count us out yet," she whispered. "Humans are remarkably hard to kill." For 15 days, the survivors on Europa waited in silence. The observation station's limited supplies dwindled as Dr. Bai Jiwon rationed food and water. The aliens had fallen into deep despair, certain that Earth was lost like so many worlds before it. Jiwon spent hours each day at the communications console, sending the same message. "Europa Station to Earth Command. Please respond." "Only static," answered her. On the 16th day, as hope faded, the youngest technician rushed into the common area. "Dr. Bay, something's happening to the darkness." At the observation deck, Jiwon watched in amazement. The vast blackness that had enveloped Earth's position was changing. Spots of normal space appeared, tiny at first, then growing larger. It's retreating, whispered Trell, the alien ambassador. Impossible. Listen, called the communications officer. The speaker crackled with static, then cleared. To all outposts. This is Admiral Kang Hee-jun of Earth Defense Command. The darkness has been repelled. Repeat, the darkness has been repelled. The room erupted in cheers and cries of disbelief. Ji-won steadied herself against a console, tears streaming down her face. How? Asked Trell, his four eyes blinking rapidly. No species has ever survived direct contact. Because we're stubborn, Ji-won replied with a tired smile. 3 weeks later, the first shuttle arrived from Earth to retrieve the Europa Station personnel. Captain Park Ji-ho embraced his old friend Ji-won as he stepped through the airlock. You look terrible, she said, noting his gaunt face and new scars. You should see the other guy, he joked weakly. It was close, Ji-won. So close. The journey back to Earth revealed the extent of the battle. The moon was gone completely. Earth itself showed massive dark patches where the darkness had touched the surface directly. We lost nearly 30% of our infrastructure, Ji-ho explained as they approached the planet. Millions of casualties, but billions survived. How? Did we win? Ji-won asked. Dr. Song's resonators were key, but they were failing. In the final hours, something unexpected happened. The darkness seemed to get sick. Landing in Seoul revealed a changed city. Buildings stood damaged but upright. People moved through streets purposefully, rebuilding. What struck Ji-won most was their faces, tired but undefeated. At the partially rebuilt command center, Admiral Kang greeted the returnees from Europa. The old soldier looked a decade older, his hair now completely white. The Confederation representatives have arrived, he told Ji-won. They want to understand what happened. You'll join the briefing. In the conference room, alien delegates from 17 species sat in stunned silence as Dr. Song Yuna presented her findings. The entity you called. The darkness evolved millions of years ago, she explained, showing complex energy patterns on the screen. It feeds on fear, specifically the neurochemical energy produced by terror in sentient beings. She changed the display to show brain scans. Human neurophysiology processes fear differently. When we face fear with resolve, what we call courage, it creates an energy pattern the darkness cannot digest. An alien delegate raised a limb. But many species can be brave. True, Yuna acknowledged, but not at our scale. When billions of humans simultaneously produced this response, it became toxic to the entity. It was like trying to consume poison. Ambassador Kim Ji-hyun, who had represented Earth at first contact, stepped forward. Though visibly exhausted, she spoke with quiet confidence. The darkness has retreated beyond our solar system, but it still exists. Already we've detected fragments breaking away, potentially evolving into new entities. She looked around the room at the alien representatives. Humanity will lead the effort to hunt down these remnants. We invite all species to join us, but understand this: the time for running is over. Later that evening, Ji-won stood on a hill overlooking Seoul. The city lights battled against the unnatural darkness that still lingered in patches across the landscape. Trell joined her, his tall form silhouetted against the sunset. My species has existed for 50,000 years, he said quietly. We've built wonders across 100 star systems. Yet in the face of true terror, we ran. Humanity, barely space-capable, stood firm. Don't be too hard on yourselves, Ji-won replied. Fear is a natural response. What comes next? Trell asked. The Confederation is in chaos. Many worlds look to Earth for leadership now. Ji-won watched as workers activated a new resonator tower, its blue energy pushing back a patch of lingering darkness. We rebuild, she said simply. We heal. Then we take the fight to whatever remains of that thing. Why? You could simply defend your world. Let the rest of the galaxy manage its own fears. Ji-won smiled. That's not who we are. Humans don't just face their own fears. We help others face theirs too. As night fell fully, the resonator network created a soft blue glow across the horizon. Where once the galaxy had trembled, humanity stood unshaken, and now unafraid.